I'm not so sure about the vibes in Dallas, B.
Well, what happens sometimes is you get one person who likes to comment on everything, and when people are on that team with that said person, they don't normally respond because he is probably like one of the better players, and people just listen to him all the time, and you don't want to get into a battle with him. But once you leave, you can voice your opinion. And basically, Lawrence is telling Micah what he feels. You do less of your second jobs and more of your first job, we ain't got no problem.
So everybody understands DeMarcus Lawrence signed with Seattle. I thought DeMarcus Lawrence would have made a lot of sense here. He's not here. He's in Seattle. He's in the other Washington.
Yeah.
And I think it was some in-house Seahawks media. He did an interview with a dude and said, Dallas is my home. Because he's talked about part of the reason he wanted to stay there is his family's there. They're established, whatever. He said, Dallas is my home, but I know for sure I'm not going to win a Super Bowl there. Now, I will add parenthetically, I'm not sure you will with this version of the Seahawks, but whatever.
Well, he could have been just saying that because he's gone from Dallas now.
Yeah. Regardless, he took a shot. He took a little shot, and that's okay. You're entitled to do that. Micah Parsons quote tweeted that and said, "This what rejection and envy looks like. This is some clown bleep with a clown emoji." Well, Tank Lawrence doesn't strike me as the kind of guy that is a punk about his bleep. And Tank Lawrence responded, "Calling me a clown won't change the fact that I told the truth. Maybe if you spent less time tweeting and more time winning, I wouldn't have left." I think Tank Lawrence wins that sparring session. And B, we've now heard from a few different people that Micah needs to chill. Somebody said the podcast, he's talking about tweeting.
He probably was referring to the podcast stuff as well.
Right.
I just think that while you're playing, it's difficult to juggle that. And I did media while I was playing, but I also knew how I told you how I would do stuff. If somebody had a awful game, I'm going to talk to them to get their opinion. So when I know that the co-host will ask me a question about that person, and I answer with their words. You still have to understand you're teammates with guys. But Micah is going to make an opinionated thing about everybody on his team, in the league, and everything else. While you're playing, that's a little dangerous.
Yeah, man. Even last week when Washington traded for Tunsil, he quote tweeted Adam Schefter and said, WTF, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then of his own. Now, this one I can kind of get because it was his teammate going to play with the Giants. Chauncey Golston, he had a comment on. This I find fascinating. So Clarence Hill is an institution in Dallas. Has covered the Cowboys forever. Schefter tweeted out, "More moves in San Fran. Niners are releasing Leonard Floyd." Clarence Hill quote tweeted, it said, 49ers are gutting themselves, which they really are. To which Parsons replied, "No more rookie quarterback, LOL, welcome to reality." And he's not wrong in that.
He's not wrong, but he should not have an opinion about everything. If you are getting ready for the Dallas Cowboys to play a football season, why the hell are you commenting on everybody's tweets? If I'm a part of his team, of the front office, I'm like, I need you to back off a little bit, please. Because if you are you're quoting everything or commenting on everything that's said. When the hell are you looking at your stuff?
Exactly, dude. There is plenty of time in the day on the planet to fire off some tweets. I get it. I just, at some point, you don't need to if you were commenting on, people just tweet wacky stuff, or he loves golf and he's tweeting about Rory taking this kid's phone or something. You know what I mean? Okay. But to comment on the business of football from your club and other clubs just seems like a lot, man.
Yeah. I mean, listen, he has a right to do what he wants to do, but people also have a right to question him. And question the dude is outstanding talent. But as I say over and over again, you have to he does it, and he does his first job very good. But when you are a person of his ilk, his level, you got to make your team better with you. They didn't win a lot last year. So stop worrying about what's going on everywhere else and try to get your stuff together. The way teams get better sometimes, they go internally. They kind of disappear from the public, and then they come out balling because they all focus on one common goal, not commenting on everybody else's ish.
Yeah, man. I don't know. Listen, man, I've made plenty of fun of Mike McCarthy, but he was a pro coach. I mean, he won a Super Bowl. He dealt with Aaron Rodgers a long time. In hindsight, we may all learn that dealing with Rodgers was, that McCarthy, looking back at that divorce, maybe McCarthy wasn't the problem. You know what I'm saying? But regardless, I think as we kind of like get further away from this, McCarthy and that Dallas team, for better or worse, were pretty good. They won a lot of games.
Yeah, they were.
Now you still got Dak, you still got CD. Like I can see a lot of it, but now you got Brian Schottenheimer running this thing, and it sure seems like Micah Parsons. If Micah Parsons is emboldened right now, how's that going to look when he gets $200 million?
Huh.
You know what I'm saying?
You won't be able to shut him up then. Man, I just feel you have that right, but sometimes just because you have a right don't mean you have to do it.
Totally.
You know, like I think every time that people go, "Oh man, it's legal, nothing wrong with it." Yeah, it might be legal, nothing wrong with it, but it may not be for you. Just because something is legal don't mean you got to indulge in it or try it.
Right.
Because you may not be able to, you may be the one that can't handle it, which is going to make it a detriment to you. So just because he has the right to comment all the time, he might want to back off of his son.
Bro, Jeff, I don't ask you this to put you on blast, okay? But there have been times when I think Jeff unfairly on social media probably catches more heat because B and I bust your chops a fair amount. But, like, we're also your friends, and we have real conversations, and we know what you're trying to accomplish in life. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot more to it, where sometimes you'll just catch heat on social media. And there have been various times, Jeffrey, where you've asked, like, yo, JP, you think I should say this? And I'm like, no. But you can, but you at least know to ask the question if you should. Yeah. Is that fair?
Yes, that's fair. So the question I would ask is, who is the person that Michael Parsons asks for guidance or information? Who's the person he would go to for that? Or does he think nobody could tell him anything?
I don't know, B. And it's one of the great, truly one of the best questions I've ever heard asked in a press conference. And it should be no surprise that it came from David Aldridge, a Hall of Famer. And I believe it was Terry McLaurin. And DA said, who in your life is your truth teller? Who do you count on to tell you the truth? And the truth is not always pleasant.
100%.
And like, if you, like, for me, between my wife and working with Brian Mitchell, like, I'm going to be told the truth.
I subscribe to that.
Right. Whether or not I want to hear it, I'm going to hear it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it comes from a place of love, dog.
I know. And dude, in a lot of ways, I think that's what Pete Carroll was about. That's what DQ is about. I think that's what Adam Peters is about.
Mm-hmm.
And there's evidence of it, honestly, with John Allen. I mean, let's be real with Allen. On some level, I'm not, let me be clear before some aggregator says I'm reporting this. I'm not reporting anything, okay? But on some level, I know there was a conversation between Allen and his representatives.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, man, we're going into the last year. We don't have any guaranteed money on this thing. Let's talk. And on some level, that conversation was, yeah, man, I don't think that's going to work. Like, that was some truth, right? And what exact words were said and what the exact order of the words were may vary. But, like, ultimately, Allen was going into the last year of a deal with no guaranteed money, and he wasn't going to play on that. And Washington knew they weren't going to give him any guarantees, and they knew there was a divorce coming. And so what do? They handled it the right way. Hey, you can talk, see if you can get a trade going. If not, we're going to release you, let you hit the market in time to take advantage of the market.
Yeah.
That's harsh. That's business, but it's reality.
It's true.
And you're better off in that world.
Yeah. I'd much rather a person tell me straight up what they feel about me than lie to me and then tell somebody else what they think, and then the other person come and tell it to me. Because at that point, I'm not going to like you anymore, but I won't respect you for sure. You know what I'm saying?
Totally.
So when my dad always said, don't try to live life to be liked, because people may not like you. So you sitting up there trying to sugarcoat something for somebody and you know you're lying, and then they find out the truth, they don't respect you. As long as they respect you, that's all that matters. So I don't give a damn if you go have a dinner with me or have a drink with me, but you know one thing, you know you're not going to come at me wrong because you know what I'm about.
Speaking of the truth, Brian.
Yeah.
Speaking of what's important, telling the truth, even when it's inconvenient or perhaps harsh. Myles Garrett had a press conference in Cleveland. Now, you remember it was Super Bowl week. So that was only 6 weeks ago, maybe about a month ago. When Myles Garrett said, I want to win. I need out of Cleveland. I'm never going to win a Super Bowl here. My focus is winning.
Well, he did win.
Things have obviously changed for Myles. He stayed in Cleveland. He got, $160 million guaranteed, I believe.
He won.
Myles Garrett was asked about remaining with the Browns, B. I think the fans will see my heart is in the right place. It's never been about money. It's always been about winning.
Yeah, but you just said you couldn't win there, and the only thing that has changed is the money. And let's be real, bro. I'm not mad at you, but that's why I say to people sometimes, don't say stuff that you give people a way to come back at you. If he just said, listen, I just think I want to try somewhere else, that's better than saying I can't win a Super Bowl here. Then they give you money, now you feel like you can win a Super Bowl there. Just be careful what you say when you're speaking things, because that will come back to haunt you.
There's some irony in certainly me, less so you, because you're less prone to fly off the handle like I am. There's some great irony in two people that basically speak for a living, in you and I at this point, telling people to speak less and not necessarily speak all the time. But
it's your job to speak.
Right.
Michael Parsons is a professional athlete.
Right.
His job is to play football.
Right.
And yes, he picked up this other stuff because of what? Professional athletics. So he could do a lot of other things, but when those other things start becoming more prominent than your original thing, or start pulling you away from your original thing, that could be a problem.